What's up, everybody?
Tuesday.
Hey,
Oh, what do you got there?
Special guest.
What do you got there? Throwing out an early announcement already?
a little
I don't
coming
know. It just
soon.
popped up on my screen.
Oh,
Oh
man.
man.
I guess we're letting the old cat out of the bag early tonight.
Yeah, man.
Letting everyone know what next week's show is all about already.
Well, we're talking about liquid versus granular tonight. So what better way to follow it up?
Yeah, man. We had them featured on our little liquid versus granular post this week. SLS coming in hot, Simple Lawn Solutions. We'll have them on next week. Pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, so we'll be heavily focused on liquids next week for sure. So excited to have them on. So it's gonna be fun.
Sweet.
That's
How's everybody
right.
doing?
So we got some
All right.
Bill.
Well, welcome everybody. This is episode 34. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. 34. We're doing a liquid versus granular tonight. I'm on my iPhone. I don't have my laptop, so I'm not in the live chat. So I'll rely on you guys to keep an eye out. But I'm sure we got a good number of our regulars, our core audience, our hardcore keep off the grass fans in there. But a big shout out to everybody watching on YouTube afterward. Those of you that listen to the podcast on your way to work and everything, we love you guys and really appreciate everyone's support. But hey, before we get too far into it, it is Tuesday. So why don't we grab a glass, if you can see it, and keep off the
Nate.
Or a nice tall boy of Bush Light.
Bush. You had the Jack last week.
So cool. I mean, it is like a celebratory Bush Light with the Hawks beating up on the Hoosiers last weekend. And I'm excited to see Justin the Lawn Whisperer laying some stripes in that Hawks t-shirt. Oh, I just can't wait to see that.
That was funny. That was really cool, you guys doing that. That was awesome.
It's gonna be good. So, I mean, Hawks play the Cyclones this weekend. If anyone wants to hit me up with a little bet. I mean, just let me know. Hit my DMs. We'll see what we can arrange. But yeah, number 9 versus number 10. We'll see what happens.
I haven't seen anyone else out there other than me that's a Cyclone fan. It's pretty heavily dominant in the lawn care community on the Hawk side.
Oh, I'm a big Cyclones fan myself.
But I'll take that bet, Nate. I'll film a video of me in a Hawkeye shirt, striping after I overseat here if Hawks win.
Does he have to go out and buy his own Hawk t-shirt?
Who, Justin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yep. So he's
that makes it even better, don't it?
Yeah, when we were talking, I said he's gonna make sure it's nice and tight for the ladies. So I told him to order a schmedium, kind of like a Lush would wear.
Yeah.
He is a good looking man. Beautiful man.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it how I see it. I'm an honest guy.
Brent, you're not wrong, my friend.
Yo,
So funny.
Heard you that time.
you heard me? Okay, sweet.
Yep.
I'm sitting here banging on this thing.
There he is.
I don't know
man.
why it does that sometimes.
I just got to bang on it.
Yeah, sometimes you bang on it and then you can hear it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, we might as well get into it, right? So tonight we're talking about granular fertilizer versus liquid. And I kind of came at this, my thought process is maybe learning as far as, when would one be more appropriate over the other, or say, why would someone use one versus the other? What are the pros, the cons? I thought this would be a fun discussion. I just got a sprayer this year, so I'm starting to kind of get more into liquids, and I think it's been interesting to have more variety and options for like post-emergent weed control. I think that's been really, really cool to try that out. But anyway, anybody have any thoughts? Who wants to take it from here on granular versus liquid?
Well, I got a question. I'm curious if does anybody use a totally liquid fertilization program?
I think some people out there do. Right? I mean, I don't think you could buy everything pre-made and get the amounts of nutrients you need. That would be, in my opinion, extremely expensive. So I think for the most part, you're either gonna have to buy the powder and make your own, or get some granular in there. Otherwise, I mean, you have to apply something every other week to even get the levels of nitrogen or whatever you need to get there. And that's kind of what I get out of it. I don't know what you guys see, but it seems like a lot of work if you're gonna go full granular, or sorry, full liquid.
Yeah, that's I'm just, I'm curious. I don't know of anybody that does or have. Golf Course Lawn says yep. He just popped in the chat. He says yep.
But
that's kind of interesting. I mean,
he's like taking urea and diluting it into water and spraying it. So
yeah, he's talked with us about that before.
That's kind of a hybrid in my kind of opinion. I mean, like that's not a true like
that's a granular applied liquidly.
Yes. That's so.
So what are we talking about here? Obviously there are some things that aren't stable in liquid long enough. Like you similar to like drugs, you have to keep it in powder form, and then you reconstitute it, mix it up, dilute it, spray it.
You mean pharmaceuticals?
You're not gonna
Pharmacist, speaking to some knowledge.
He means pharmaceuticals, but I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know.
It's all drugs in the end, right? I mean, you're not gonna.
Brent.
What do you have to?
I mean, so we talking lawn. Let's talk about liquid versus granular lawn fertilizers. Like, let's talk about fertilizers first, then we'll get into, other granular liquid options. But I mean, as far as the whole liquid diet, I think it depends on the size of the lawn you have. Not to talk about size again, but I mean, really, I mean, no, but for real, like, if you have a large lawn, I mean, depending on what type of equipment you have, it's going to be hard to spray that. I mean, if you got like everything Olee has, you can do whatever you want, but if you have, I'd say even 20,000 square feet plus, I mean, it'd be hard to spray that if you want to keep up a solid fertility plan.
Yeah. It'd be a lot of work,
Yeah, I'm sure. I just threw that in the chat. I'm like, hey, it seems like it'd be just a lot to keep up with, because Ope said, I tried all liquid this year. It lasted 3 months before I regretted it. Too much time spoon feeding, in my opinion. So, I mean,
well, and I think you got to be out there every 2 weeks putting something down, and then even at that point, after 2 months, you're probably only at like 0.6 nitrogen, and then at that point, like your spring flush is done. You're getting into the hot summer months, and you're basically backing off a little bit. I mean, with the spoon feed, you can still continue, but I guess when I calculated stuff, I was like, man, I just went out and sprayed, and I only put down like 0.12 or 0.15, and I'm like, that's going to be a lot of applications in order to get, that 1 to 2 pounds that I want to get to before, the whole summer dryness and no rain.
I mean, yeah, some people would probably argue that do full liquid is that you don't need that much nitrogen. The people who are spoon feeding, they're not shooting for 2 pounds before the summer. They're probably shooting for half a pound before the summer. And that's kind of like how they, just as it's like, it's absorbed through the, it's absorbed through the leaf, or whether it's absorbed to the soil. I mean, you can have 2 different types of liquids, but normally they're shooting for, I'd say, half a pound before summer if they're doing all liquid.
So what's the, I guess, from any of your standpoints, what's the advantage to liquids, or why do you prefer to use, if you do, why do you prefer to use a liquid fertilizer? Do you prefer it like early spring, or like through the middle of summer, or like if you're going to use it, when and why?
Liquid's quick, foliar absorbed, and you see something happen quicker.
You also, if you think about spraying your sprayer on your sidewalk versus spreading granules, you get full coverage. You're hitting every spot pretty much is getting some fertilizer. So, I mean, as far as like coverage goes, I'd say with liquid, your chances of getting 100% even coverage are probably increased using liquid. Now, I don't use much liquid. I'm just, I'm just talking here.
Yep.
I wonder if the liquid would be better if you have, one of those, the real short, like kind of your real mowing. So you want your grass to go short and thick and dense. So maybe granules, you're going to have to water it in anyway. So you might as well spray it in, gets down there, you're getting full even coverage. You're not relying on granules to kind of bounce around and find their way in maybe too. I don't know if that has any impact on your decision to use liquid.
Well, yeah, definitely. Even washout, you think about washout. I would think your chances of getting washouts greater with granular, depending on, what type of prill size and stuff you're using. But, that's kind of the way I look at it. I think the plant doesn't know that doesn't really care whether it's coming from a granule or a liquid. I think it's going to take it up the same. It's not going to know the difference, like, oh, this came from liquid, oh, this came from granule. But I mean, I think it's just about the other factors involved with it is, how you make the decision.
So what if you had a situation where you're like, okay, you're 2 weeks out from like hosting a barbecue with some folks at your place or something like that, and you want to give the grass like a quick green up. Do you think like some kind of a immediate release liquid Scots or something with high nitrogen would be just as good if you watered it in well as like a liquid, or would you turn to a liquid or something? Would there be a one?
I'd probably go for a liquid that's also got a lot of iron in it.
Yeah.
And I'd hit it with some feature or some main event or some Simple Lawn Solutions new liquid iron that they just dropped this year. Something, because that'll pop it fast,
yeah.
because that's, I mean, that's a thing that everybody always does around Halloween, right? Halloween domination.
Right,
yeah. In this theoretical scenario, are you having a cookout in 2 weeks?
Oh no, I'm not. No. No, I'm over city next weekend. I'm just curious because that's one thing where you're like, oh hey, well maybe we should invite some folks over or whatever. And all right, well I want to make sure that domination line is extra savage. So what can I do now? What would really be come in the clutch? And it sounds like probably, unless you want to water it in real heavy and your soil's ready to take it up. I don't know. Those situations could arise for somebody. Who knows?
So Zach, to your last comment. So this year I did all liquid on the sides of my house. I live in a walkout lot, and the grading, like when I'm coming down there with my mower, like I'm actually like running because it's so steep. And I had issues in the past with washout with certain granulars. So I've actually just did all liquid this year. It was just a lot easier for me.
No, yeah.
How often would you be out there spraying?
Well,
How do you spray?
on
Do you use
one
a
side of my
backpack or
house, I
use a?
care more about what it looks like than the other side because I hate one side of my house a lot more than the other. So yeah, I spent a lot more time on one side than the other. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. I probably will not do it again next year and probably figure something else out. But yeah, I mean, you're out there constantly, and it's noticeable. Like, you know, I took up liquid all the way down to my sidewalk, and then on the parkway, I was still doing granular. And you can tell the difference, you know, especially if you get kind of behind in the liquids too. Yeah, it's just different.
What do you use to spray that out? Do you use the hose end sprayer or do you use a backpack?
So I usually use a backpack. So I have the Flow Zone, the Typhoon, or whatever it's called. I got one of those this year. I like that. I mean, sometimes like if I have like SLS stuff, I'll just use that the pre-mixed like hose end sprayer. But I prefer most stuff to do it through a backpack sprayer.
Sweet. What you been doing, Brent, this year?
So I haven't really done a whole lot with a liquid fertilizer. I would say the only thing that I've used that was a liquid fertilizer was after I came back from vacation, the 0025, I think, from Simple Lawn Solutions. That was the only like actual kind of fertilizer that was a liquid that I used, and everything else, you know, all my nitrogen, for instance, that's all been coming from my DCM plan that I set out at the beginning of the year. And so, you know, even through the fall, I do have some stuff from Simple Lawn Solutions. I think it's the 1648. Does that sound right? 1648 from them that I'm going to incorporate into the fall at some point. But, you know, right now, when I overseed, I'm going to do ProPete's 11-11-11 with my overseed. Then I'm going to follow that up with the DCM 212 after, I don't know, say 6 weeks after germination. And then my last fertilization is going to be a 2020 at the end of fall. So I might work in like a one application of some of that Simple Lawn Solutions through the fall, but pretty much everything that I've used, at least in terms of sources of nitrogen. And I think actually I'd have to look back at my journal because I may have done an application of that 1648 earlier in the year. But in terms of liquid, I've stuck with that 0025 from Simple Lawn. Obviously, I've said it a billion times. I love their the soil hume and the root hume. Alternated those. I did one application of feature, in the spring. And then I did an application of the new liquid iron from Simple Lawn Solutions as well this year. So, and then I've got some other stuff that I've been using that's micronutrient package, but that doesn't really have. I mean, that's more of the type of stuff we were talking about the other week with Ryan from MicroLife. I'm using something else that's a little bit different, but it's big on the molasses, the mycorrhiza, a couple other things like that. Especially to kind of like ease it through the summer stress. But I haven't put any fertilizer down throughout the whole summer, which, I mean, I don't know. That's something I haven't really researched a lot. Like, have you guys been doing any kind of fertilization throughout the summer? Because I haven't. It's not something I've been doing other than that 0025, kind of help along with some of that heat stress. But you tell me what you think.
Yeah, me personally, I hit the 1648 like my very first mow. and then I hit it with that. My thought was liquid. It's going to get in there quick, kind of get the lawn jump started with some growth. So I did that liquid right away. Like I said, in like March is when I hit that. Then since then, I kind of went granular through the summer for fertilizer. Kind of like you, I did the 0025. I also used their 31818. I like that product a lot.
Yeah.
Felt that was great during the summer. A lot of people were asking me like, how'd you keep so green during the summer? And I think a lot of those couple products there, spacing them out about a month apart, helped a lot, in my opinion, for my lawn.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could see that, because you're not overdoing it. You're not doing something that's got, say a 17 in the nitrogen column.
Exactly.
So you're not really cranking up the nitrogen. So I could see something like that would be, you could kind of limp it through, and that would help. I think probably during the summer. That might be something that I'll try out next year, because I'd like to keep working something into there.
Yeah.
Because I got to tally everything up, but I would venture to say I'm probably pretty light on the nitrogen as a whole for my entire year, just in terms of pounds on the ground. So
yeah, I'm sitting just over 2 pounds. And I like to be, I personally like to be at like 2 pounds. Because I'm gonna probably shoot for 2 pounds in the fall. I'm kind of like some other people. They like to kind of do the heavy fall fertilizer. So like I said, I just put starter fert down with my overseed, so there's gonna be some nitrogen there. And then here in about a month or 6 weeks, I'm gonna hit it with probably some 1704 from Pro Pete. And then at that, I'm hoping the only thing I'll have left to do is early November. I'll put probably a little bit down, just depending on where I'm at for the year, if I'm at close to that 4 pounds or not. If I am close to that, I might back off the nitrogen a little bit. But then, like I said, I'm going to focus on kind of getting things ready for next year with that last application, which I think is a great future topic for a future show. So we won't dive into that too much yet. So.
Awesome. As far as your starter for, what'd you roll with?
So I was fortunate enough, to pick up that $8 clearanced out Scott's back in, I think, Mark, when was it? Like March when we went and got that?
You guys had the date.
Yeah. It was like March.
Yeah, it was kind of an odd time. It was right before they changed over the label. So I think it was like March.
Yeah, so we I think it was Spring Lawns here, and he's in kind of the Des Moines area, which is, kind of by you, Mark, and close to me, and he had posted about it. So I know I'd messaged him and it's like, hey, which store did you get that at? So we ended up meeting up at Lowe's up in Des Moines, and they had some bags of it. I picked up 3 bags. I only ended up using 2. I really wish I would have picked up more, just because the price of it was killer.
I told you, man. I bought like 8 bags. I told you, man, just buy it. If anything, just give it to a neighbor or something, man, for $8.
Well, that was the kicker, because I only used 2 of the 3 bags, so I still have 1 left. But my neighbor down the street, I was helping him reseed his. We dethatched his and aerated and seeded it and starter ferted and all that. And he had to unfortunately go out and buy like the full price stuff. So, I was like, man, now I know why I bought this stuff, and I should have bought more. But that was definitely a good deal. So, so I wanted the tenacity in there when I overseeded, because last year I did not use it when I overseeded, and I felt like I kind of brought on more weeds from that overseed when I tore my lawn up. So I wanted to do it this year, and I'm hoping that maybe that'll leave me in a better situation come next spring. So, but yeah, so I use that. I have not put that into my spreadsheet yet, as far as where that puts me on my pounds of nitrogen and everything. But like I said, I got plenty of nitrogen left to put down for the year until I kind of get to my goal of where I want to be.
So, hey, back to the liquid versus granular talk. Something was thinking about, and I know people, contemplate what they're going to do based on it, but is there CECs? So if you have like a high CEC, heavy clay soil, I wouldn't think it's as effective to use heavy granular and kind of like soil load the soil with a bunch of fert, and it might just sit there because it's so clay type soil, so heavy soil. So, it may be a better option to use liquid in a situation like that versus if you had lower CECs to use heavy granule. Because obviously that soil is a little more, it's got some more room in it. Anybody know anything about that? Olee?
What was it now? Sorry. Sorry.
Just CECs. If you're going to
Yes,
use
sir.
liquid, high CECs, using liquid, low CECs, using some more granule, does that matter to you?
Well, all I deal with is low CECs. I don't have, that great of a soil here. That's the reason I try to get whatever I can organic wise or whatever I can get a hold of to up the CECs to hold on to the fertilizer longer. With the liquids, I don't think that, basically it's going to be taking up foliar. So it's going to go to work. So I don't know if that's really a concern or not. Now, I do know some of the professional liquid fertilizers do have a slow feed. There is some, some stuff out there that does have a slow release. Like on the most of your granular stuff, like Propete, Caleris, most of those higher end fertilizers, have a 12 to basically 90-day feed.
Don't some of them have like some fertilizers have a mixture though in there, like some have urea and it's like part urea and part, so you get the combination of like the quick results from putting it down, so you see the green up,
just keep bang 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 bang.
Yep. But then you also got the other sources of nitrogen in there that are going to keep it, like you said, for 12 weeks or whatever. So that's a good thing to look for in a fertilizer is, when you're putting it down and what you're using. Because I know, everything I've heard is spring and fall, you want the quick, so more of a synthetic. And then when you get into like summertime, you maybe want that slow release, so you're not burning anything or you're not getting too much growth, pushing too much growth during the hot heat. So maybe you're looking more like an organic or a slow release, like Propete or something like that.
Yeah, with the lower nitrogen input.
Yep.
I did Propete at my old place, put that down not long before we moved, because I had a bag of Propete and I figured that it would be, the grass would take it up when it needs it, if and when, and it would just be there, if we didn't get any rain or didn't need it, it would just be there to kind of throughout summer as needed.
Helping out those new owners.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, was that one of your selling points in your listing, like premium turf grass lawn?
It was. So the guy,
4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, premium turf grass lawn.
Pretty much. Yeah. The guy that took our photographs, he follows me on Instagram, and he was like, "Oh my God, dude, is this you? I follow you or whatever." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." And he said, "I'll tell you, today I'm coming to take pictures because you'll be at work, but make sure you got those stripes on, looking good." So I did, but then the day he came, it was super rainy. So the house looked fine, the grass looked good, there was no stripes, but he photoshopped out like a bright sunny sky or like poofy clouds, So it was like, oh man, this guy doesn't. But anyway, it's like a nice green, like a warm season looking lawn. No stripes, but it looked good.
Do you live close to it? You should drive by it and see what it looks like.
We did actually one time, and it's all brown. It's terrible. It's all dormant. It may come back when the temperature's cool, but it looks pretty bad. I'm like, yes.
You should just like randomly show up to do one of your TikTok videos as like a follow-up, like
I might
stop by my old house and like show you knocking on the door and like handing them a bag of fertilizer and leaving or something.
Yeah, you might need this.
You guys clearly need this.
Yeah.
Hey, good one. I like that one, Nate.
Did you not follow my TikTok videos here?
Right. Oh, that's so funny.
Don't you guys know I'm the lawn care pharmacist?
Right, yeah.
Pharmacist or something.
Oh shit.
Oh, man. All right, so how far are we into this show? We're about 30 minutes in. Brent, should we talk about lawn of the week? I mean, last week we had Midwesting official.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who put out a wicked Metal Mowing Monday video playing his drum kit in the yard. awesome B-roll shots of his cymbals, just crushing it. Pimping out that awesome belt. I loved that. That was so good, man. But yeah, I think, it's another Tuesday, so it's time to pass the torch. And well, now pass the wrestling belt.
Wait. Where do they get if they win Lawn of the Week?
Well, for anybody who's new, the Lawn of the Week is sponsored by Pro Pete Fertilizers. And if you are a winner of the Keep Off the Grass livecast / podcast Lawn of the Week, Pro Pete will give you a free bag of fertilizer. Or if you have a large yard and don't really have a use for a single bag of fertilizer or can't incorporate that somehow, they'll send you out some swag. So big thank you to John and the whole crew at Pro Pete. We had them on the show. If you guys haven't seen or listened to that episode, please go back and do that, because we had a great talk with John Pocock, who's the CEO of Pro Pete Fertilizers, and he dropped some knowledge on us, told us all about the company, told us about their product and what they offer. And then he reached out to us and said, hey, we would love we love your Lawn of the Week idea. We love the show. What do you think about us sponsoring and doing a giveaway every week for the Lawn of the Week winner? So big thank you to them. And, we're happy to pass on a quality product to the Lawn of the Week winner for you guys to try out, and you make your own determinations of whether or not you think it's legit. So with that said,
question right quick.
Yo.
So whoever wins,
Man, it's just stalling.
Sorry. They get their choice. They get their choice of any MP and K, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And if they want greens grade or not, so it doesn't matter if they mow high, tall, low.
Doesn't matter. You can get that greens grade.
It could be really low.
You can get the regular. You can get the greens grade. Any MPK you want, and Pro Pete will supply that to you. And they've been really quick on the shipping. So with that said, Keep Off the Grass livecast wants to take a moment, being that it is the week it is, and we want to remember the events of September 11th, 2001. We all remember where we were. We all remember what that day entailed. And then for a lot of people, we also remember what we did in the years after that in support of our nation. So with that said, we could absolutely not sleep on the Turf Tamer this week.
Hell yeah.
You are the winner of the Keep Off the Grass livecast Lawn of the Week for the week of September 11th, for this amazing tribute to all of our American brothers and sisters who perished, and also everyone who has given their lives and limb and blood in response to the attacks. So thank you for that awesome tribute. I think that's amazing. I mean, you crushed it on Memorial Day, and once again, this is looking awesome. So Turf Tamer, outstanding. I don't even know.
Well said.
I don't even know what to
Brent.
say. I don't even know what to say about this. I mean, that is,
It's amazing.
that's incredible. That's incredible.
That's such a cool way to do what you love and incorporate that somehow into kind of honoring, something like that. I don't know. That's really awesome to take what you do and make something really cool like that for everybody. I don't know. I like it a lot. That's really cool.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love to hear about how we did this and how long it takes and stuff. Because it's just absolutely unreal.
He said 27 hours.
Wow.
He has
a lot of this stuff is hand trimmed. He's got a little set of hand trimmers.
Yep.
What is it, like sheep guard? What are they?
Shears.
He's got the little shears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he does like a stencil and then kind of does it out and then gets it and then takes it down, and that's just amazing.
But yeah, it's amazing.
I love it. I love that Statue of Liberty with the twin towers inside the statue.
Yeah.
Man, that's
very
creative.
I couldn't even draw that on a piece of paper with an eraser.
Right?
That's true.
Not me.
He's knocking it out with grass. I mean, I can't even make a 3 or a 4 that straight with my pen and pencil. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not only the skill of just designing it and doing it, but like the execution and to make it look like legit. I mean, phew, that's like graffiti badass stuff. You know, it's like lawn graffiti, but just badass.
Just the Prez.
We haven't given him a love in a couple weeks. You gotta go see the Prez.
Yep. So
We're getting a lot of people that say they want to see Turf Tamer on the show. What do you guys think about that?
I want to see him. I want to see him
Me join up right now.
I want to see him go live doing like that stuff in the lawn. Like I want to see him designing something. Just go live, set your camera up, and like kind of let people watch do it. I think that'd be cool as hell.
Give us a little behind the scenes kind of peek into like what you're doing, just for a little bit, you know. That'd be so cool.
I think he's
He
got
did that.
videos of his last one. Him and he was working with the Turf Terminator.
Yeah, like I saw the videos of how they did it. I'm just saying, just literally just set your camera up and hit live and, you know, work on it. And just like, I think I'd sit there and watch it and just kind of see the process of doing it. Like you said, 27 hours. I'm not going to watch 27 hours, but I'd sit there for, 30 minutes or an hour and just watch it and be like, oh, that's badass,
Real badass. Yeah.
So yeah, kudos.
Well, Turf Tamer, if you want to come on the show at some point, reach out and let us know, because I think we'd like to talk to you a little bit more about this.
Yeah. What kind of grades did you get in art class in high school? That's what I want to know.
Things like that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the questions we're gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Art class and shop class, and this is what he's doing now with his lawn.
Yeah.
What do we got next week again? I know we briefed on it earlier, but you kind of forget.
Yes. Next
Simple Lawn Solutions.
Yep. So, a lot of us, you've heard the name a lot tonight. A lot of us use the product, have used it, currently use it. But yeah, they're going to be our special guest next week. We're going to sit down with Brittany, the CEO of Simple Lawn Solutions, and she's going to kind of tell us about the company a little bit. We'll find out what she likes to drink and see what she's sipping on next week. But yeah, so if you guys got any questions for her, or that company, reach out to us, let us know kind of what you want to know about them, and we'll get stuff ready for them. But it's gonna be a cool show. We definitely like to do some giveaways with our guests, so we got something special lined up for you guys for next week. We got some cool stuff working with them lined up for next week, so definitely a show you don't want to miss.
Yeah, don't miss it, because we got to.
You want to tell them what's going to happen? Or are we going to save that as a teaser?
We'll wait.
But everybody will, if you're into Simple Lawn Solutions, everybody will want to watch next week, because we're going to have, in conjunction, they have a little special something for everybody. So
you should say it'd be beneficial.
Ooh,
be beneficial.
We're not talking about a giveaway either.
It would be in your best interest to be on the show in the live chat next week. How's that sound?
Pay attention. Yeah.
So
big thanks to them. A lot of us have been in touch with Simple Lawn Solutions, over the years, and working with them, and had some great conversations with Brittany and that whole company. So great people down there. A lot of us have spoken to them directly and know them, and we're excited to sit down and get to it and bring that to the show.
And rumor has it that last year about this time they did a lawn contest that, there's this guy that I know personally pretty well who actually ended up winning that contest. But rumor has it that they're going to do another contest this year. It's going to be pretty soon, and there might be a special announcement coming up on that pretty soon as well. So I think Simple Lawn's got a lot of pokers in the fire as well right now. So if you're not following them, if you're not keeping an eye on them, definitely keep an eye on them, follow them, because they got a lot going on, and we're going to unravel a lot next week with them.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
They've got a lot of things up their sleeve. And she knows what she's doing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, check this out. Jamie, the accountant, He's watching this right now, big time. He just sent me this.
Love it.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man.
That's sweet.
I
I like that.
wonder what he's drinking.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that. What's he got? What is that in the background? Is that
Brick.
It's got that
Stone.
stone
Yeah.
background.
That's
Got that over the
sweet.
fireplace, Jamie?
How
I
many
like
inches is that? Nate told me he had what was that? 82 inch?
Yeah, we did find out that I got a bigger one than Zach when it
Yeah.
comes to TV at least.
That's compensation, ain't it?
Yeah, I saw somebody put in the chat that as a Lawn of the Week winner, you get to ride on Zach's 60-inch.
Hey, anybody who wants to come over here, they can get a ride.
Brado.
Free rides.
Who wants a mustache ride?
Speaking of
Actually, I
liquids,
shaved my mustache tonight.
Zach, you need a sick like Fu Manchu. That's what Zach. I think that look.
I can
good.
grow it. I shave
Yeah,
every
man.
Tuesday. Actually, Tuesday is the only day I shave.
You know, if you're gonna grow out that Fu Manchu, you should
Wait,
probably
why
start
Tuesday?
now. Well, you should probably start now in the Fu Manchu, because here in about 5 weeks or so, you're gonna be somewhere to show that thing off, right?
It's true.
I mean,
Unless
where you
nobody
got-
can see me because I'm a mask. But yeah,
That's true. That's true.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's true. But it'd still be worth it.
Zach, what's the significance of Tuesday?
I shave for the podcast, man. I got it cleaned up for my boys. I mean,
No, I believe
I'll
it.
go scruffy all week. I wear a mask to work all week. No one sees me. And, people see me. So I got to shave on Tuesdays.
Mm. It's about that time of the year to let this thing wolf out here.
Yeah, I just took off
This
like
will
3
help.
months. 3 months of mine I took off, and I'm like, I don't know if I wanted to do that, but
Yeah,
we'll let
mine's
it grow
coming
out.
back. I'm gonna get the handlebar, where I might do a handlebar mustache in conjunction with
yeah.
a long beard. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But you're right, Nate. We got GIE coming up. We said
Yeah.
it before, but we got some cool stuff planned for GIE. I know I'm going. I'm booked. Got a
Ew.
flight. Got a place.
Who you
Yeah,
rooming with?
Let us know if you're going. I'd like to get, I don't really know our options, but and what we're doing. But in the evening, it'd be cool if we get some people who are in the live chat all the time and get a few of us and just shoot some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Drink a Bush Light with
Yeah.
us.
I know me and Straight Lines and Bourbon. We got some plans. We were talking the other day. He's going.
He's going?
He's going. He said he was gonna
Sweet.
come out. He goes, "Hey, are you going? I know that the show's going. Are you going?" I said, "Yeah, man. I'm all booked up and ready to rock and roll." And he's like, "Excellent." He's like, "I can't wait to hang out,
That's
meet
awesome.
all
Ride
you
with me.
guys." He's like, "I want to get some bourbon, of course." So, yeah, we're doing that. So that'll be fun. We're gonna go hang out. And the funny thing about that is, we probably said it before, but if we've never said it before, very few of us, I think the only people that have met in person on the show is Mark and Nate, right? None of the rest of us have met. We're spread out all over the country,
Yeah.
and we've actually never met. We all just met through Instagram and
Yeah,
started talking like a bunch of schoolgirls and became internet friends. And here we find ourselves, sitting here talking to each other like every week and
Every day.
Well, yeah, we talk every day, all day long.
Yeah, I
but-
remember being lit with Brent at 2 a.m. figuring stuff out.
But I think that's what's hilarious. I think that's so cool. Like we've never met and actually hung out, but yeah, we've had these internet adventures together where we're like, oh yeah, we're drunk and hammering out how to do a podcast and how are we gonna stream it live and what do we use?
Yes.
Zoom, Skype, let's figure all this stuff out. Yeah. We got it. So it's kind of funny. So we're excited because we're going to get to meet each other and actually hang out and shake hands and bro hug, do all those fun things. I got Nate as a roommate, we'll have a good
Man,
time.
I snore too, so I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hey,
No,
one thing I've learned
I
about
got a couple of
trips-
these in me, and I'm a pretty heavy sleeper.
One
I
thing
fell asleep
I've
on the
learned
couch
about
the other
trips
night. The
is
wife could
that
not wake me up.
pack earplugs.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. That's it. So what are we doing when we're there? Who are we working with? What's the
What are
plan?
we talking about?
GIE. Well, are we sharing any of our big plans while we're there?
I think we did. We talked about it last week.
Yeah, a little bit last week. Yeah.
My plan is to go to the GIE 3 days. I'm staying there that Friday night. I'm gonna hit some whiskey bars on that Saturday. So if anybody's staying an extra night,
Yeah, I got a challenge for anyone going to GIE that kind of, is in the show tonight or listens to us. If you have a KOTG shirt, wear it there. Okay. If you don't have a KOTG shirt of any kind, order one now because it's going to take a few weeks to get there. And that way you have it in time for GIE. Okay. So my challenge to everyone there is if you're going, pack your KOTG shirt. And I want to see lots of people wearing a KOTG merch while you're there. And if you don't have one, go to our website, kotg.live, and there's a tab for merch. You can order a shirt, like our backgrounds that we have right now. That's a shirt. Let's say you think you really like Brent more than anyone else in the whole show. He's got his own logo on a KOTG shirt. You think Ole's got the biggest, baddest, coolest, straightest stripes.
This guy's got the best. You have the highest selling shirt.
Like whoever you like, whoever you, like I said, if you just want to rock the group, whatever. But yeah, like I said, my challenge to you guys is order a shirt and wear it to GIE. I want to see tons of KOTG shirts there. Okay, out at the bars, at the venue, whatever it is. I mean, I'm literally going to take like 3 or 4 Stripe Life and KOTG shirts. That's all I'm taking. And I just want to rep our group the whole time we're there.
Then we might, if anybody's going, swing by and see us at the Barenbrug booth or catch us on the floor or out at a bar or whatever. We might be giving a couple of those things away too. So,
yeah. Yep. So that's gonna be fun.
so granular liquid. What about fungicides? Let's just switch it back up a little bit here.
Yeah, let's get back on task.
Granular versus liquid. No, that was good. Granular versus liquid. When you guys apply fungicides, are you applying granular or are you applying liquid? And is there pro and cons to both?
I can tell you if you're gonna spray like a wasp nest, like I had, you're definitely gonna use liquid. So
talking fungicides.
I know. I'm just going off on a tangent and just letting everyone know that I kicked the shit out of that beehive tonight, and I killed them all.
What happened?
And you're proud. You gotta pimp yourself out a little. I got it.
Dude, I posted on a story. I had this ginormous bee like comb that I found like up in my eave spout. I mean, huge, and it was growing like by the day. And I'm like, oh shit. So I went and found some wasp spray, and tonight I was like, oh god, I'm gonna do it. I was worried I was gonna get stung like 30 times, but I was like, so I sprayed the hell out of it and ran like a little girl into the garage and shut the garage real quick, and then came back like an hour later and hit it again. Just nailed the shit out of it. And then like a couple hours later, I went out with a big old long like broom handle and just knocked that sucker down, and she's gone, and I didn't get stung once, and I felt pretty proud of myself. But back on fungicides. Sorry for that tangent. Squirrels over there. I went off on the squirrel.
I mean, it'd be hard to pitch some granulars up there at a beehive, just throwing fucking granulars right at it, knocking it down. But I mean, yeah, like fungicides. What do you guys use? Granular or liquid? Olee, I know you use some liquid, so
Yes.
you want to speak on it a little bit?
Yeah, liquid. Mainly been rolling my own with what is it, 22% hydroxy, and then I've been using the hotter propiconazole, the 41%. So, but been doing that. Next year I got to be on that a little better. So hopefully next year my whole program's better, preventing army worms, preventing fungus, And my goal is to make it through the entire year with some killer stripes. Every year something has defeated me.
Nola, you lay everything down with the permagreen, right?
Yes, sir. Permagreen. And now
your
I have
liquids?
now I have a Gregson Clark 200-gallon skid sprayer. The only sad part about that, which I can use to exercise, is you have to walk and spray.
Can't put it on like a 4-wheeler or anything?
No.
No.
And I want it though, because it won't mess the stripes up as bad. That's the only complaint. I love my little permagreen. It's a lifesaver. But
what's the width of the, like, I'm gonna say boom on your permagreen?
It's a single nozzle deal, and it covers basically like 13 feet.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. But it makes life easy. I mean, you can spray and spread at the same time, so you can run a liquid and a granular at the same time. I just hate that you have more wheel marks to mess up your stripes.
Yeah.
But it is a low volume machine, so you don't run any kind of high nitrogen or anything, because it only uses 12 gallons of water to an entire acre. So that's the reason I wanted a skid sprayer, to where I could have more carrier. And something to think about liquids is once you move into liquids, you can have so many things in the tank at one application. You can have nitrogen. You can have, possibly your insecticides. You could be rolling some sugars, sales pitch. But and that, matter of fact, that's my detacher right there. No Sun Joe.
That molasses.
That's going to be my cleanup. I'm going no till, no drill.
Yeah, you see a lot. You see a lot of people when they go liquid, they're mixing 3 or 4 things in a tank.
Oh man, it's a ton of stuff.
I think everyone's got their own name for it. Their special juice or whatever you want to call it. Everyone's got their own little concoction of their lawn cocktails. But that is a big advantage that you can throw 3 or 4 products into the sprayer at one time and do it. So
yep.
Definitely one advantage.
Especially if you've got enough volume, if you got enough carrier. If you were to do something like that in a backpack, you could spray it, but then you need to follow it with irrigation or something so you don't burn.
Yeah, because it's gonna be pretty dense it's gonna be heavily loaded with ingredients. You're just not gonna have the water. Whereas some other stuff you may have 60% water, so you're almost watering it in as you apply it.
Yeah, with the permagreen, Olee, one time me and you had a conversation about I was scared to spray, to blanket spray my lawn with my backpack just because I didn't want to over apply or whatever. And you're like, well, with the permagreen, that's why I do blanket spray, is because I know I'm going to get even coverage over everything and I'm not going to over apply.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and that made me, I think about that sometimes now, like when I'm doing applications, but with my sprayer, I'm just not as good and as accurate as I am with my spreader. I can look at the granulars I can look at the granular size I'm using with, and I just know where to set my spreader and I'm dead on. I got that locked in, dialed in, but my sprayer, I'm not as accurate with. So that's why. Like
I say, I love it. It's a killer little machine.
I want to see you walk. I want to see you backpack walk your property sometime.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that I started out with a Lesco 80-pound push spreader, and about throwed up every time I applied my fertilizer. I mean, it was terrible. But
because he also had a backpack on. That backpack was full of beers.
Yeah, there you go. It was a headset. Yeah, that's one reason I'm about throwed up at the same time. But
took so long, you got to take a couple roadies with you.
Slower as the day goes.
Hey, does that permagreen have a cup holder on it?
No, it needs one, but it doesn't. You got to have both. The bad thing about it is you need both hands on it at all times. I mean, it pivots in the middle, and man, if you every once in a while, I'll try to make a little quick reel or a little video or something, and then it looks like a snake went out across the yard. You're all over the place when you take that thing gets to moving everywhere. But it's very nice because it is calibrated, and as long as you got the engine RPM where it's supposed to be, and you don't have any issues, you can't beat it as far as the coverage and I guess the consistency of it.
I saw one on Facebook Marketplace this weekend that a guy here in New Jersey was selling for, I don't know what was wrong with it. I didn't message him because I obviously don't need one, but he was selling it for $300.
You need it
for repairs. So if anybody in the Northeast or hell anywhere that wants to drive is looking for one, if you look at Facebook Marketplace, like South Jersey, there's a permagreen on there for repairs for $300. So I don't know what's wrong with it, but
and for $300, that's a killer deal.
Well, you could probably get that and just part it out.
Yeah.
Need some repair parts for yours.
I hit up Olee, the diesel mechanic, and help me figure it out.
Yeah.
Yo, get a trailer. Come on over here. It's only about 9 hours from you.
Yeah.
But as far as like the blanket and all that, like I know there's products like, when you spray weeds, you spray weeds typically, but I've seen like the weed, what do they call it? Not weed and feed, but it's just like a weed granule. You ever seen that? It's like Scott's. I know Scott's makes one. You spray it. It's like a weed and feed, but without the feed.
Yeah. Is that the one that yeah.
So, I don't know if anybody has ever had experience with that or, I know all the cons against it and I've never used it. This is just me just talking. But, as far as like, getting even coverage, and if your spreader well enough to get even coverage, maybe anybody have any luck trying something like that, even in the chat, like other than spraying weeds?
That would work totally different in most of your liquid stuff because most of it's a foliar absorbed, and you're saying granular. So that's something, I guess, that goes through a root.
Well, it sticks. You got to apply it when it's wet.
Oh, okay.
And it just sticks to it. So
like a true weed feed.
It's like a weed and feed, but just the weed.
Yeah. Like kind of going back to liquid versus granular. In my opinion, that like if you're a beginner, liquid mixing liquids, and like you said, even coverage, I think it's intimidating as hell. I have a backpack sprayer and I've used it like once. And I don't know, even myself, I'm kind of intimidated to use it because what if you mix it wrong and all of a sudden you're like, you do your math later and you're like, oh shit, I used, 5 times the amount. Or, everyone talks about you got to calibrate. And what if you don't do it right? Or what if you think you did it right and you're walking and all of a sudden you think you're going to do your whole yard and you get halfway done and it's gone, because you can't see really behind you. So it's like, it's one of those things where you got to have a comfort level. You got to play around with it a little bit with some water, get a feel for it.
You just buy a hose end sprayer from Simple Lawn Solutions and
honestly, I like their products for that exact reason, because I know their product, it covers 3,000. I know an area that's 3,000 and I'm just going to spray that whole area. But I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like, liquid versus like a hose end sprayer, I can see, like the backpack. Personally, it's intimidating to me. Even if I mix it up right, am I walking the right pace? Am I doing things right? I think the whole time I'm doing it, I'm like worried about doing it right versus like enjoying what I'm doing. I don't know if anyone else feels that way in the chat or any of you guys, but
that's just one of the things we're just over time. You just practice and like walk your driveway with water in it and see your coverage and
and I've done that, but I still think like it's kind of like anything, that you get to game day and you're a little more amped up, a little more jacked up, and I think you're going to be walking a little bit faster or doing whatever. I don't know. Like I said, for me personally,
the same song every time.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
That's true. You do get like amped up before you're like, all right, I'm about to make an application. Like, you can't check. Like you're right. I get that way too.
You can't listen to, Rough Riders on one side and Jason Aldean on the other or something.
That's you right there, Olee, man. Dude, I hear you listen to Jay-Z, DMX, and then you're listening to like, I'm sad my dog died. Like, dude,
and then some Black Label Society. You know, I have people shoot me a message. I was like, really listen to that, man. I listen to everything, and it's all different
That's
moods.
awesome.
And music is my thing, because you know, music is pump you up, take you down, you know, jack you up, whatever, memories, you know, and it's available. You know, you can't watch TV and run the backpack sprayer. You can't watch TV and run the skid steer, but you can have music, man. Just my neighbors think I'm more crazy when I got my headsets in, and dude, I'm out there rocking, and you know, I might be singing some, what is it, Buck Cherry, Crazy Bitch, you know, something of that nature.
Yeah.
You got the Tool. You go from Tool to DMX. I heard some
Yeah.
Jay-Z earlier, and that brought me back. I was like, damn, I got to go back to that. That was
It
good.
depends on which CDs I find. Like every once in a while, I'll dig through and find some old CDs. But God dang, man, I ain't heard Little Troy in forever. And then next thing you know, you find some Nickelback or something, and you're like, God dang, I ain't heard this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But back to the coverage. How do you spray the spray bottles, Nate? Like, to get, do you wave it back and forth, or do you like spray it like a, you know, like
Helicopter?
you're pushing a spreader?
Yeah. So I mean, I tend, like, if I'm going to use liquids or anything, I always mow first. And the nice part about, you know, striping your lawn is you have like a visual there. So to me, that's one of the biggest tips that I give anyone is mow your lawn. If you stripe it, but if not, you at least get your like wheel marks probably, and use that as a measurement. Like, I know my deck is 30 inches. Sorry, it's not 60. But you know, I know my deck is 30 inches wide. So then I know, like, if I'm going to spray, you know, 2 stripes as I'm walking, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit my other 2 stripes as I'm walking. So I kind of keep a consistent how I'm spraying, whether I just go straight down one stripe, turn around and walk, come back to the other stripe. But like I said, I keep it consistent using my stripes as my measurement. So I know I'm not, you know, overlapping so much and then missing part of it or whatever. So that's kind of my hot tip is use your stripes to, you know, stay in your lane and put your liquids down properly.
It's a good point. Keep them straight.
Keep them straight.
Yeah. It'd be easy with those lasers you put down.
Oh man.
That's half the reason I do it, just so I can walk straight when I'm fertilizing stuff.
I'm in that boat of like the first time getting into liquids and backpack sprayers and stuff, and it definitely has a learning curve. I think the granular has a lot more give. You know, you don't have to be quite as precise for most of those. You know, and the big factor is you're watering it in and how much water you're giving it. But switching over to the liquids, I think it opens up a lot of opportunity for different things. All sorts of different things you can start spraying. It has a lot more flexibility for what you're doing. The big thing was like, you know, okay, upfront cost. If you're going to buy a thing of tenacity, you know, what, $150 or something like that for a jar, but it's going to last you a long time. So you're buying it all at once up front, and then you're kind of doling it out as you need it versus buying a bag of something with it in there. You know, oh, it's only $50, but that'll just be for like one application or maybe 2, depending on the size of your yard. I think that's the huge benefit that I'm looking at as far as liquids, is just having more opportunities. My lawn that I had before was doing pretty well. It was also really young, and I hadn't really faced a lot of problems. I haven't had a lot of bug infestations. We don't have very many trees. So there's issues that I haven't faced yet that I think, you know, if you get a more mature yard with more trees and coverage and, you know, different things that maybe a fresh lawn that was just sodded 4 years ago wasn't dealing with, the liquids I think will go a long way to help, you know, keep that looking good and battle different funguses and whatnot. But yeah, getting into lawn care, granulars, I think is where, you know, a lot of new folks are at.
Well, I mean, a lot of times you go to the store and majority of the products are going to be granular, you know, and yes, there's some stuff that's hose in, but you know, if you're going to go to a big box store to pick up your fertilizer, you have way more options, you know, for granular. And I think that's just kind of the go-to as a beginner or, you know, the DIYer. If you're not, you know, really into it, I think, you know, if you're just going to follow the simple 5 steps of Scott's lawn care, you're going to stay granular. And honestly, there's nothing at all wrong with that.
No.
There's you can run a granular program, everything you do granular, and that's not a problem, or you can run everything liquid, it's not a problem. So I think from our standpoint here on the show, we don't have a preference one or the other. One's not right or wrong. It's just kind of what you prefer and your comfort level and price points and all that stuff of what fits your style. Honestly, I think
I agree, man. Like, because I was talking about this after the show last week, but I mean, people talk about all these like debates of the products and stuff. But I mean, you have been following for a majority of your lawn care, obsession, like, the step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4 ish program in a way, kind of.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Yep.
but you have one of the nicest lawns on Instagram, in my opinion. So I mean, like, people, and it's mostly granule. I mean, and there's some liquid, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, as far as like, the Scots and all that stuff, I think you're a good example of that. Like, you can have the nicest lawn and not be using the best new stuff on the block.
Yeah, I mean,
on the block.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I mean, there are advantages and disadvantages to buying, different fertilizers. I mean, we all can agree with that, fillers and whatnot. But I think for the average homeowner, you don't have to have the top high end of everything to have a nice looking lawn. You can buy, like I said, Menards, from the Midwest, you guys know Menards, buying the Menards brand, it's a significantly cheaper. And I think the results are like right there with everything else I've ever seen. So, I'm definitely a fan of that brand.
Well,
Yeah, I
and
think-
it's like a lot of people have said that have come on the show, and we've seen it a lot in the chat week to week to week. There's something to be said for just focusing on the NPK and letting it run. And like, if you're giving your lawn what it needs, like whatever those sources are, that and there's a lot of people that are big proponents of that. I mean, we like to get around and screw around with different stuff and say, okay, all right, well, what does this do? I mean, at least for me, I'm like, all right, well, there's this other thing on the market. Let me read a little bit about it. Let me look up a couple articles. Let me see what the science says, and then let me try it out. See if it, like, is that making a big difference? Is that doing something different? Because really, up until last year, when I started using the DCM and trying it out and saying like, okay, well, here's a premium fertilizer that's used on golf courses. Like, let me bring that to my house and see if I see a big difference. I was going to Home Depot and just getting, Scott stuff, you know what I mean? And just focusing on like, all right, what does the lawn need to grow? Right. And then last year I was like, all right, well, let me try this premium stuff. And I've seen it in action on golf course. Let me see if I can replicate some of that beauty in my lawn. Right. And, but yeah, I mean, tons of people have been preaching that, over the last year on the show. So there's a lot to be said for it.
Yeah. And like you said, it's kind of fun to have new products or new companies, I mean, like ProPete, I'd never heard of them before. So it's kind of fun to, like you said, research them a little bit, learn about them when they came on the show. There's definitely things with ProPete that interested me a lot. So I used some of their products this year, and I really, really like the response that my lawn has to it. And so I in my opinion, if I'm not going to use Menards or, ProPete, then I don't know what else, I'm going to go to right now. But for me personally, those are kind of my two brands for granular that I'm looking at, is staying with ProPete or Menards for me personally.
Hey, I want to shout out Winging It. He has a comment right now, and it says, I mean, maybe I'm drinking too much right now, but he says liquid amendments are cheaper, I think. Granular fert is cheaper. So I don't know what he's trying to say right there, but liquid amendments are cheaper, I think. Granular fert is cheaper.
No, you read that right.
I think he's talking.
I don't know what you're trying to say there, bro.
Crazy. I like it though. I like it. I got a little shout out too. I know that there's a couple people out there that are working right now. I know that there's a couple people that I'm friends with on Instagram, number of cops that are out there working. So shout out to you guys for sitting in the squad and listening to the show.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah.
So winging it. What were you really? You want to try that again?
Yeah.
So I'm drinking.
Everybody's saying they agree with them, so I don't know. Like maybe
Everybody's
I'm
drunk.
He's got the,
yeah.
I know winging it, slinging those bush lights.
Jamie's like, I agree with you, and then then someone else said I agree with them. So I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it wrong.
I think everyone's drunk tonight.
Maybe like kelp and whatnot that are liquid are a better deal versus like a fertilizer liquid where, you know, maybe you're paying for the shipping and the water. Maybe if that's what he's getting at, whereas like granular, you're not paying for the ship out the weight of the water. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That's why people get the soluble, mix your own, roll your own.
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons that, you know, there's pros and cons of granular, there's pros and cons to liquid. And I think you could, you know, I think me personally, it comes down to your budget, your comfort level, your experience level, and just what you, and honestly, what you have access to. You know, nowadays with the internet, you know, you have a lot more access to stuff, but I mean, 10 years ago, the only way you were getting stuff was going to go to a big box store, right? Whereas like now you can order stuff straight to your doorstep. So I think that has changed a lot as well.
Yeah.
Very
Before
true. You can have the best barbecue in the world, but if you can't get it to their plate, it ain't worth a darn.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, there's lots of
What is the night?
yeah.
Yeah, you're
Like
not
I've wanted to make some reels about different fertilizers, and you know, like because you always see everybody say, "Oh, this is the best."
mm-hmm.
Well, really, when it comes down to it, is what can you get your hands on without going broke?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to buy something that's full of salt and chlorine, but you know, what can you get your hands on? Also, there's a lot of good things at local landscape supplies and
Co-ops,
stuff of that nature.
like farmer co-ops have some stuff.
Yep.
Like your fleet farms and like your you know, some of those like farm stores, they got like off-brand fertilizers that, you know, you can get a 50-pound bag for like $20, you know. So
Yep. No, I know Sean, he used 2100 most of the year in the spring. And I mean, just like a mile down the road, I can scoop my own 2000 for like, I think it's like 40 cents a pound, 30 cents a pound, something like that. I mean, it's like, you know, you just go, you bring your own, you have to bring your own tub, bring your own sack, whatever. And, you know, you scoop your own.
Keep my sack with me.
Your own sack?
I keep it with me.
You know, and they also, you know, but yeah, you can scoop your own in a lot of these places if you're around like farmland and stuff. So
yep.
I actually have some.
If you're a big fan of, you know, biosolids, which is basically like everybody's crazy about Milorganite, you can find that at a lot of your treatment plants for like $50 a ton. And a ton goes a long ways.
And a lot of places make a similar product. I know that in New Jersey, we have one that's the next county down from me has, you know, they call it Ocean Grow, and it's exactly the same stuff. In fact, that, you know, I had posted about this, the stuff I got from Tuckahoe that I was going to use as a starter fertilizer on my in-laws, which I put down this past weekend when I was down there. And sure as hell, when I put that stuff down, started spinning it out, smelled just like Milorganite. And there's a lot of other good stuff in there too. It's not all of that. It's not all of this Ocean Grow, but one of the things that they were telling me down at Tuckahoe was, you know, that Alan Carter was telling me, he's like, yeah, it's got Ocean Grow in it. That's one of the ingredients, you know, of that particular fertilizer. But yeah, I mean, it's basically the exact same stuff as Ocean Grow, and it's local. So it's cheaper because you're not talking about distribution like we're saying, and you're not talking about a bigger company that's gotten blown up on social media and YouTube, and everybody's trying to clamor to get it because there's videos out about it and they heard about it. So you know, they're out there, and it's not just here in New Jersey. There's other places that make it too. You just gotta kind of look for something like that, and there are things out there. You know, just because
Basically, every
Anderson's not
state-
around the corner from your house, there's something close to you that's being produced that hopefully you can get for a little bit less than you would
basically
any other
every
product.
state should have some type of sewage treatment plant. But like I say, I ended up finding a source last year. I had to ride 2 hours, but I went and got 9 tons. So it done my place, my dad's, and a buddy. And it's pretty crazy, you know, $50 a ton. You have to at least hit that minimum, you know, but that's pretty wild, $50 a ton.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And it made the color. It done it.
I remember seeing you spread that out on like you had that pole behind. It was just shooting it.
Yep. I put it behind my little tractor in that PTO driven hopper, you know, basically like an ag style hopper. But that somebody takes that ocean grow and mixes it with a compost. And a lot of people take it and top dress with that and get phenomenal results. Like they'll take and mix it in the compost.
Huh.
Yeah, but there's lots of stuff out there like that.
Yeah. And as you learn, you know, you don't pay $65 a bag for stuff anymore. Things become a lot more affordable and, you know, just easier as you talk and learn. And that's one good thing about everybody shooting a bull.
Yeah. So if I bought Ocean Grow, I'm spreading Brent's poop.
Probably. You're welcome.
Full alcohol.
You're welcome. I eat pretty clean, so
Got a lot of bourbon in it.
it's got a lot of, might have some bourbon in there, but as far as my caloric intake, it's pretty clean.
Nice.
I eat a lot of wraps, a lot of protein. You know, chicken Caesar wraps, tacos.
That sounds good.
Get the tacos and turf on your lawn.
Although tonight I did have, I broke down tonight. I had mac and cheese with my 5-year-old. What are you gonna do? Every once in a while, you gotta have some mac and cheese, right?
Oh,
Throw,
yeah.
throw,
You got them little instant cups.
No, oh no, man. We went to the store. We got 2 types because my older son's allergic to dairy, right? And he's at my in-laws' house tonight. So we were like, hey, we can have regular mac and cheese. So it was like a showdown because I'm a Velveeta shells and cheese guy, and my wife's a Kraft mac and cheese lady. So we had the showdown to see which one he liked better.
Taste test.
No, he liked Dad's.
Nice.
That's
You,
awesome.
If you really want to spice up your life, you get yourself a can of Hormel chili and throw it in there.
Oh,
Mix
hell
those-
yeah.
Mix those 2 together for some chili mac.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
you're living.
sir.
Now you're living.
Or some canned crab meat,
Oh,
canned
I don't
lobster meat. You got a little lobster mac and cheese.
I'm
No.
sure it's imitation.
Could be. Screw off, man.
All right.
All right, let's wrap this one up.
We probably should. Rambling now. For anybody that's still here, thanks very much.
Yeah, man.
We're-
That's kind of the part of the fun of this, right? Though,
Oh, yeah.
like every once in a while, we get to go off on a little tangent. We'll get
This is
back
the-
onto a solid schedule, like how we're going to talk about a certain thing next week.
so
Well, that's it right here. Next week, baby.
There it is.
That's it.
We got
yeah.
Lawns coming on next week.
Simple
Dave, you
Lawn.
have
We've
a-
been
Like,
working on this with them for months.
Months.
You know, scheduling being what it is, they're super busy. This is the time of the year when they're able to, you know, do these types of, you know, kind of outreach and stuff like that. So we said it before, it would definitely behoove anybody that's interested in their stuff to hop on next week, be in the live chat. They got
Yeah, and
something for you.
you know, we're not talking about necessarily just a giveaway. We got something special planned for them, for you guys to take advantage of. So
That's it.
Yep. That's all you get.
See you next week.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Go get your KOTG shirt so we can see you at GIE. Go
Yes, sir.
Hawks.
peace.